Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make some butternut squash for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so we're going to do a whipped butternut squash. All right, as I said, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. We've got a lot of different Thanksgiving recipes on the channel, but we haven't done squash and butternut squash. This is such a basic, easy thing to do, but I was thinking, maybe a lot of people haven't made butternut squash. So if you're cooking dinner yourself, or you're bringing a side dish along to friends or families, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you guys how I do mine. All right, so first thing we need is some butternut squash, okay? This is a butternut squash. I've washed it, dried it. Now, so you got, I want you to keep one thing in mind. This, the amounts in the recipe are gonna be for one batch of this. I'm gonna double this because this is gonna be actually what I'm gonna use for our Thanksgiving dinner. And I just wanted to show you how I make it a couple days ahead of time, what I do with it, and so on and so forth. So anyway, so for the single recipe, you need about 4 pounds of butternut squash. So one butternut squash, about 4 pounds, all right? We need a little bit of olive oil because we're gonna roast this in the oven. So we need some olive oil. And then just a couple other ingredients. Some brown sugar. You can use light or dark brown sugar, whatever your preference is. Just because we're trying to cut down on the carbs a little bit, I'm gonna use brown sugar substitute. Although it's not gonna add a large amount of carbs for what we're going to do, but hey, every little bit helps, okay? I'm going to need some butter. Of course, it's salt and pepper to taste, all right? And then I'm going to need some cinnamon and some fresh nutmeg or some nutmeg. All right, so I've got my oven set to 350, and we're going to get the squash in the oven, and then once the squash is cooked, we'll come back and we'll finish everything up. So for right now, all we need is our squash and our olive oil, which I have very little in there. All right, so how do you cut this? All right, the first thing you need is a nice sharp knife, okay? Just don't be afraid, go right in. So I'll usually, try to do it in half so that your halves are even sized. All right, must be very careful. We're just about through. All right, that was more scary than it is hard. All right, so then, of course, we want to take out the seeds. All right, so look at that nice, beautiful butternut squash. So let's get the seeds out. Sometimes when I've done butternut squash, it depends upon how I'm doing it for Thanksgiving. This is my favorite way, and I think Wade likes this the best too, the way that I'm doing it today. Sometimes I'll just, in past years, I don't know why, if I was lazy or whatever the reason may be, but I'll just buy the already, chopped up butternut squash, then steam it. But anyway, this roasting it just gives it that little bit of extra Thanksgiving taste. Now you can do this with any kind of squash. It's delicious. With acorn squash, do it the exact same way. I'd say if just one batch of this, because of course, normally at Thanksgiving you have lots of other side dishes too. So, but I would say 1 4-pound squash would easily feed 6 people. And if you're going to do more, or you want more for leftovers, just double, quadruple, just, however much you're going to need. All right, so put this over here. I'm going to move our cutting board. All right, so we got a cookie sheet. We don't need these for now, so we can move these out of the way. Yeah, I already got some paper towels there. All right, let's see if we can get these all. So like I said, our oven is preheated to 350. Take some olive oil. probably a couple tablespoons or so. We don't need a ton of it. We just want to coat it lightly. You might as well use all of this because I got almost none left in there. Oh, we need olive oil. All right, my hands are nice and clean. And then just, spread it around the outside. So I normally make this at least a couple days ahead of time. It's one of those recipes that holds really well in the refrigerator again. I also am going to make my sweet potato mousse sometime over the next couple days. So I'll show you when we're done how I would just make sure this is very well covered and just stick in the refrigerator. All right, that's all there is to it. So then salt and pepper is to taste. If I can, let me just give my hands a little rinse. We had a home that had an instant hot water. Remember that, hon?
Yeah.
Instant hot water. It had like a little hot water tank, and it was a little tiny faucet on the sink, and it was instant hot water. I loved that. We should get one of those again. All right, so salt and pepper to taste. We're going to add a little bit more salt and pepper after it's roasted, but this will get us started. Now, I wish I could tell you exactly how long it takes to roast up our squash, but because this is a naturally grown product, depending upon how you cut it and how thick it is, how dense the squash has grown, I can't give you an exact amount, but it usually takes about an hour. This is kosher salt. It looks like there's a lot, but those crystals are big. All right, so believe it or not, that is our first step. So we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to let it roast at 350, which is preheated on the middle rack. And it's going to take at least an hour, maybe a little bit more. And so you want to cook that so that it's fork tender, because then we're going to take it out of the oven. We're going to let it cool a little bit. We're going to take the squash outside of the skin, and we'll continue with the recipe. So we'll see you in about an hour. All right, guys, I checked my squash at 60 minutes. I thought it needed a little bit longer. I put it in for another 10 minutes. And I found it a little bit more, so I did another 5. So it's taken just about 75 minutes. Again, my squash was, quite thick, especially on one of them. I didn't cut it as even as I could. But I think they should be good. I can't see. All right, so like I said, we want, of course, on the edges, I'm sure they're fork tender. There we go. Oh, perfect. Perfect. All right, I think that is perfect. All right, now we gotta let these cool down a bit so we can handle them. All right, so we'll bring them over here. We'll let them cool down a bit, and we'll come back and finish it up. See you in a while. All right, guys, our squash is cool enough to handle, probably a little cooler than it necessarily needs to be because we went out shopping while this was cooling down. So, the only thing we need to do is take out all of our delicious squash. Of course, if you come across a couple stray seeds, discard those. And you just want to scrape out as much as you can. This smells so good. When we walked in the house, I could smell squash. Not that much to it if you're not rushing. So this is, that's something in the oven. So this is basically it. Now, like I said, I have let this cool a little bit more than I normally would if you just want to let it cool so that you can handle it. But basically at that point, once we finish seasoning it up, it's done and you would serve it. If it was a little warmer, it would even come out a little easier, but anyway. All right, let me give my hands a rinse. So we got our immersion blender here. Now you can use just a masher. You can use the immersion blender. You can use a hand mixer, or put it in your stand mixer, whatever you want. In here I've got my brown sugar and my cinnamon. And we'll give it a couple shakes of nutmeg. A little bit more because this is a new nutmeg. There we go. And we can put all our butter in there. I've got a baking dish, which I'm going to, like I said, because this is for Thanksgiving, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. Get in there, butter. All right. And get in there and spread that down a little bit. And we're going to whip this up. Now, if you use a hand mixer or you use, you just use a masher, you might notice that it's a little stringy. If you use the immersion blender, it, blends everything really well. There we go, guys. Nice and whipped. Nice and whipped. For there, I'm gonna, before I discard this, I'm gonna just give it a stir, make sure we got everything. So like I said, if you're ready to eat, this is ready to eat. You just serve it. Now, so since this is for our Thanksgiving dinner, I've got a buttered baking dish here. I'm going to get a different spoon because that bowl is heavy. Be right back. Oh, that's delicious. I was going to taste it for salt and pepper anyway. I don't think it needs any more salt or pepper. We'll let people salt or pepper if they feel it needs it at the dinner table. Now, of course, the reason I'm putting it in a little roasting pan here, or baking pan, I'm going to save a little for our supper tonight. Should be plenty. Let's clean the edge up there a bit. So, now, I'm going to put a little cling wrap over this. And so I want to get it as nice and airtight as possible. And then I got the cover. All right, and that's going to go in the refrigerator. Now, on Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, or Christmas Day, I guess it depends upon when you're watching this, right? Thanksgiving or Christmas, it's interchangeable. So I'm gonna, now if I was making this, I've done it in years. In the past, I've made it a couple weeks ahead of time. If I do it a couple weeks ahead of time of Thanksgiving, I freeze it. Just like that, cover it really well, throw it in the freezer. We're only a few days away from Thanksgiving, so I'm just gonna keep this in the refrigerator. So, all right, so once my turkey comes out, so you turkey roast at 325, I'm gonna do a 21-pound turkey this year, so we need about 5 hours, but anyway, so as soon as I take my turkey out, I'm going to turn the oven back up to, I'm going to go from 325 to 350, and I'm going to put all the things that I've made ahead of time, like this. So you want to put this in the oven uncovered. I'm going to make my sweet potato souffle. I'm going to put that in there. And anything else I've done ahead of time, typically uncovered, unless it's, you're doing a recipe that calls to keep your pan covered. So as soon as you take your turkey out, put it up to 350 while your turkey is, so with this, I'm going to take this out about an hour before my turkey is done. Leave it out on the counter, let it come to room temperature. The same with the sweet potatoes, souffle, anything like that. Let it come up to room temperature a bit. Once your turkey's out, crank the oven up to 350, throw all your sides in the oven, and by the time your turkey is rested, everything should be piping hot. All right, that's it. All right, wait till take some pictures, and we are gonna have dinner. So next time we see you, we'll be eating. Okay, we're back and it's supper time, but today the only thing we have on our plate that is our video today is our butternut squash whip. It smells delicious. It does, yep. Let's see how it tastes. Look at that, guys. How creamy.
Wow, that is so good.
It tastes like Thanksgiving. Oh, it's delicious. Wade thinks it tastes a little like squash pie. It does, but
that is good.
That's delicious, especially with all the other savory stuff on, because it's a little sweet. Yep. I mean, it's butternut squash, and it's got brown sugar in it. So,
Yes, excellent.
Delicious. Now, I wouldn't say this is low carb, because unfortunately, all the best vegetables, all the orange and yellow veggies are high in carbs, like corn. Anyway, all right, I'm going to eat my dinner because I'm hungry. That's all I get to say. Well, I hope we wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, because we probably won't do a video next week, although, again, in time, YouTube time doesn't really matter because nobody will be watching this. But anyway, hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Hope you try our butternut squash and everything else that we've got. Wade's got a, what is it called? Not a folder.
Oh yeah, a playlist.
A playlist. Yeah. Kind of the Thanksgiving stuff. Okay, that's it.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for watching our video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Ciao.
Bye.